I'll write it and we'll do it.
It's the mixtape.
I'm Arthur Spooner. That's
And
Judah Buddha.
Curly McGee. Look at that curl, dude. Look at that perfect curl. I don't even know how that happened.
Oh, man.
It's beardy and curly.
Curly and beardy.
Yay.
It's a Beans and Scooter. And this is the Chicken Foot Podcast. And if you can, follow us on Facebook and YouTube.
Quick, follow us.
All right.
Look how tan I was. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And people don't know that is Judah, and he has this rare chicken foot disease where his feet are basically like chicken. And,
I don't like talking about it.
And he's basically going to crush his legs one day.
It's a serious problem.
You're just eating yourself to death.
Hell.
You're going to crush your legs one day. We got one viewer. Let's see if we can run them off. So, we were watching a video that Judah, last week, that Judah made when he was in grad school.
Grad school, yeah.
And just to get everybody caught up, Judah was sitting in a chair and he turned around. So now we're caught up from last week. So I didn't want anybody to miss anything and be like, wait a minute, what's going on? Was he sitting forward and now he's backward? What's going on?
You like this kind of thing. Have you ever seen, it's just interesting to me. This is not even funny or anything, but you had mentioned that my face looked slimmer, even though I've probably gained weight since then. And you ever seen More Plates, More Weights guy? He's a YouTuber that talks about lifting weights and bodybuilding and self-improvement in general. And he did a thing on a real interesting, in-depth, like kind of a talk about Tom Brady. Because you know that picture where that meme where Tom Brady starts like in his rookie year and to now, and how it looks like he just gets progressively handsomer. And he was saying like he's about the same body type as he was when he was then, but his face is like, and he said there might be something. He might have had surgery, he said, but he thinks it's as guys get older, if they stay fit, their cheeks kind of slim down.
Yeah, well, that's something that you always hear, that men get more distinguished as they get older.
Yeah,
and women get less valuable or something. What's the phrase?
Oh God!
Just kidding. They stay valuable all the time.
No, so the whole point of that was to say Tom Brady and me are the same.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Me and Tom Brady, handsome. Okay,
let's watch the
video. All right, so far, what do you think about like me ripping off the intro from? It's basically The Office.
Well, and we're gonna pause. You could pause it, right? Can you pause it?
Yeah.
It definitely has more the British Office feel than it does the American version.
You are an Office expert. I was obsessed with. Well, okay, yeah. You already know it, and I was obsessed with the British Office at this point.
I thought the British Office was way better because some of the jokes were way edgier. Like you couldn't do some of the stuff on American TV. And then the thing about the difference between the British version and the American version, British was dark humor.
Yeah.
And part of the dark humor is they like that it doesn't work out. Right? Yeah. Americans don't like that idea. It doesn't sit well with Americans that there's not a happy ending, right?
Yeah,
but in Europe, all the fairy tales, they don't have happy endings. Mermaid,
kind of like what is it? The Brothers Grimm and stuff like that. It's
Little Mermaid, Hansel and Gretel, all these stories.
I love Hansel and Gretel.
There's not a happy ending because it's meant to be a stark story to kind of jolt you in reality. And I think that's what dark humor is. It almost kind of gives you like self-reflection. Are you this obtuse? Are you this rude? Are you this guy?
Yeah.
And where the American version is, they have to make you likable.
Yeah.
If it's going to play, it has to be likable. But go ahead.
See which one because I was also obsessed with the regular Office, but there was only like 3 seasons out at this point, I think. So you got to see which one I fall on more. All right, we've already seen all this. Go through the pictures. Oh, hey. There you guys are.
David Brent right there. That's a David Brent thing. Where he's like, hey, you guys are like, that's a total David Brent.
Yeah.
So far, you're more David Brent than anything else.
Totally.
It was like 1 second in and I saw it. Like, it's the point. That reminds me of when he went to do the public speaking. And then at the end, he was like all jazzed up. Even though he did a horrible job, he's like, hey, what's up?
I didn't. So when I was doing this, it was all subconscious. All the music and everything came in post. I had no idea I was channeling David Brent. But what was I going to say? Something about the humor. I don't know. Oh, so the whole thing here is like, where are we? We showed this at the end of the year of our senior year in graduate school, and the whole thing is, where are we in 10 years?
10 years. That's a good question. What I would say to that is, take a look around. You already have? Okay. What I would say is, take a look at my life. Some people say, Judah, you haven't changed very much after 10 years. Oh yeah? What's this? This is change. I'm taking counseling to a new level. I've started a practice in life coaching. And I'm doing life coaching in that real counseling. Anyways, it's not because I failed the NCE exam 5 times. Not at all. Let me tell you something. Those first 2 times I failed, it was a matter of 2-3 points. The next 3 times was a matter of principle. I wanted to show those bigwigs on the board, you know what? Somebody can fail and be successful. Times 3. So anyways,
it's ridiculous.
Oh, right. This little piece of genius.
A little Garth Brooks action.
It connects to my telephone. And what I can do with it? Lots of things. First of all, I've got a 3rd job. 2nd job. My 3rd job is something else. I've got a 2nd job in which, I can make money talking on the phone at the same time as counseling. It's bidimensional.
That's a good word. That's a good word. Now, pause it for a second.
Okay.
I can talk to.
Did you plan that one out, or that one just came out bidimensional?
This is all like, we had
Improv.
5 minutes to film, and I was like, I'm just gonna put this thing on and go with it.
The bidimensional was definitely a good phrase.
Bidimensional.
Yeah. that one was actually good.
Because I was actually, the real word is bivocational, you know? Bidimensional, that's like Doctor Strange.
That's the best thing, is that they probably knew there, right? Because, grad school, they probably still fresh, and they probably knew, and that probably made it, even funnier because you know what I mean. It would have been like that's a David Brent thing where
Yeah.
you're misstating something,
Yeah.
acting like you know what you're
Trying
talking
to-
about.
Yeah. Now, one thing I want you to look for. Do you think this would be as funny if you don't know counseling? Because this is like all about counseling. Okay.
Okay.
So keep an eye out.
It's bidimensional. Another thing it does. I can talk to clients. Not okay. There's clients in session, and then there's clients out in the stratosphere, voice to voice. I haven't had any clients yet call in to do the phone counseling, but it's just busting out. It's getting ready to explode. So be watching for that. So if you look around, you see stuff about me. For example, we do a lot of one-way here. My one-way mirror. There's a broom closet behind that mirror that I have turned into an observation room. Now, I don't have a team yet to put behind there to do any kind of Milan or whatever they used to call it, or whatever they call it now. I don't. Whatever. I don't have anybody to put back there, but it doesn't matter because of this. Again, because of this. I take the clients and I tell them, hey, someone's on the other line right now. They're telling me something. That's where my strokes of genius are backed up by credibility, because there's not just me. There's what? There could be 10 people behind there. Huh? It's using my head for counseling. So you're lucky because today I'm going to have a client. His name.
To me, this is the funny part.
What his name was. Hey, you're lucky. We've got people from the Trinity Counseling Center that want to know. You know, I graduated from there. I don't know if you've heard about that, and they just want to know where I've been. You know, what I've been doing for the last 10 years. I graduated 10 years ago. So, do you mind if we film? We can have you sign things later. Is that okay? I have a variety of techniques. Some I've pulled from, 10 years ago from school. Dr. Bjorgi, Dr. Perrin, Dr. Grego. I have also pulled some of my own stuff into this life coaching.
Pull some of your own stuff. That's a good one.
variety
I like
of,
that.
Perspectives, approaches. Oh, now the first thing I also want to tell you about is over there. We have see that mirror.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's like a
behind
tiny
that
mirror.
mirror, we've got a whole host of counselors. There's 3. They're
watching you,
4.
mean?
Yeah, they're watching. And see this little piece of magic here?
Mhm.
They're talking to me. Hi, how you doing? Okay? You got the link? They say hello. Okay. First thing I want to know is, Boris. How you
Boris.
doing?
Good.
And why are you here?
I think I want to go home because I mean things look different here, weird. I mean people are, I don't know, it's not like at home.
Okay, so you want to go home?
Well, not really, but I'm thinking. You know,
You're
'cause
thinking.
it's- I mean,
Can you
I like
pause it for a
to
second?
be here because I came to study and
Study.
Yeah.
I think this would be a good time for because one thing that David Brent always does is he has cliches. He just takes like familiar cliches and he always just works them in based off of a word he hears. It's like this random. So when he says, I want to go home, home is where the heart is.
That would have been perfect.
Home is where the heart is. Looking at the camera, like as if he's saying something so profound.
That would have been perfect.
Yeah. Because that's what he likes to do. Is he likes to sound like he is
Like he's come up with something profound.
Yeah. Like he's, this wisdom that's coming out, but it's only like these bumper sticker phrases because he's that's about as deep as he goes. You know what I mean? So, anyways, go ahead.
Okay, that's good.
But it's hard.
We gotta speed it up, okay? Whole session, we gotta pack a lot in.
Okay.
So,
So what do you want to know?
I want to know, what is it gonna take to get you home?
No, I don't want to
Just a
go
minute,
home.
just a minute, sorry. Thank you for calling Visa.
That's a good one.
Just a minute. No ma'am, we have no record of that. No, I'm looking it up right now. No.
That's a good one. That's
No, you're
good.
$1,000.
Was that improv?
I'll take it off your bill.
Yeah, that's good. That
Thank
was
you.
good. That one was good.
That's how you make money. Gotta make money,
That's
gotta
how you
make
make
dough. So you wanna go home?
I'm thinking to go home. I mean, I haven't made up my mind. But it's just.
Is that a
because
real
they're-
accent or is he
it's
just
hard to-
faking?
It's real accent. He's Romanian.
Go home.
I don't want to go home.
No, you just told me you wanna go home.
No, I told you I was thinking to go home.
Oh, you're,
I'm just considering, but I'm.
okay, yeah, because Krakosia, who wants to go there? Okay.
Krakosia?
You love Krakosia?
Yeah.
But then go home.
No, but I came here to study.
Okay.
We don't have schools
Okay,
like
study.
Trinity in
So
Krakow.
take some
so that's
books
why-
with you. Work with me. Maybe this will help, Boris. If that is your name.
Yeah.
What do you see there?
A clock.
Yeah. I've heard that you have to have a clock in every corner. I come from the approach of have a
It's a little
giant
long.
clock in the corner.
Yeah, how long is this?
That way, what is
Yeah.
it telling?
There's only a little bit left
client?
of my part.
One, it's telling the client that time is important. Freaking huge clock important.
Time is
It's
important.
telling the client that, hey, sands of time are ticking. Tick tock, you hear it. See this, Boris?
Yeah.
Cowboy hat. I'm a
Yeah, I've seen that
cowboy.
in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
I'm a cowboy, Boris. I want you to be a cowboy. Well, maybe you can be the Indian. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, whatever you.
I'm confused being
Whatever
a
you want. You
Caucasian
don't.
in America being
don't-
Indian.
yeah.
That's even more confusing. I don't
Caucasian
know.
Indian.
No, I feel like it's better.
Stand up.
Like here.
Yeah. Okay. You're taller than me.
Yeah, we grew up like really tall in Krakow.
And yet I have wisdom to teach you. Taller than me.
Yeah.
Okay, sit down.
That's pretty much it.
This is where the
You could have said, you're telling me, but I have to come down for you.
Great.
You know what? I think we should finish watching that next week and look at the other people's parts.
All right. Yeah.
Do they have is this supposed to be funny? Are they trying to do funny?
Yeah.
But it's
they
cringy?
they don't do any counseling though, and it's we could. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we can take a look at it.
Yeah.
Now Teo's part, his is funny. It's at the end. We could look at that one. I mean, they're all kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's just
Well-
long.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you. Well, what was some of your thoughts of why you wanted to present it for comedy here, and then looking at it again after all these years, what's kind of sticking out to you when it comes to the comedy?
See, I think the reason is because in this show, I'm really trying to understand. I think both of us are trying to really dig into who we are as comedians, or what makes us funny, or how we can be better at humor. And I think going back and watching this, I got more in touch with what I like to do, and that is, it's not really improv. I like to work off of the moment. You know, like I like to look for little turns of phrases, things like that. When he stood up, I had no idea. Like when he stood up, I was like, stand up. And I stood up. I was like, holy cow, this guy's tall. I had no idea it was so tall. But I was like, what am I going to do? I wish I wish I was more prepared. I feel like that's the thing that I could really, in my comedy, is prepare, like kind of knowing, you know, like before now, I really never looked at who I am as a humorist, you know?
I think I think what you're trying to do is kind of a little bit more what I would kind of be, you know, where I can just throw lines out because stuff will just kind of hit me. I think you use the environment better.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like
tend to
when
use
you
the
have
environment,
your
yeah.
mic and you're talking and you're, you know, like stand up and then the mirror and then the clock. And I think if you are more physical with your comedy,
Yes, that's true.
which
Yeah.
I think is probably harder because you really got to think outside the box and you got to, it's like a Whose Line Is It Anyways, where they have props,
Yeah.
you know, and you're using the props, but you're not trying to do an imagination like, oh, look, it's a radio control bee sting. I don't know, right? But, but you are like trying to say, you know what? You're using it, trying to in the context, making it seem better than what it is. But I think that would be better suited for you.
That's good.
Is the lines back up the bi-dimensional was
Yeah, yeah,
backing up the what you're pointing out is that you're talking, and then the Visa, that one, and then
Yeah.
you're like the keyboard where the thing, you're like, oh yeah, we're looking it up. I'm done. The funniest things that you had were when you were interacting with your environment.
Yeah,
And
that's true. That's good.
I think you should use people as objects. Not like, you know, you're picking people up, but you act in the scene. People are the objects too. You're talking at them. You're using them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like you have glasses and you take some guy's shirt and you just like take his shirt and you're cleaning your glasses with his shirt, put it back on. You know what I mean? And then like, or you take his seat and be like, oh, that one's over there. And you know what I mean? Where you use people as objects. I think
Yeah.
if you play off of that, you would probably be able to do a little bit more. And that probably never occurred to you to think of people's out, because you know you're a very thoughtful person in real life.
Well, what it has kind of occurred to me, but what sort of hinders me is I'm always afraid of ostrich. Like I don't want to hurt people's feelings, you know. And like what tends to happen is when I get too much in that, like I tend to pick on, you know, people. You know, I'm pretty good at picking on people, and I don't like to pick on people, and maybe that's what makes it work sometimes, is like I don't go too far, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think you definitely have to hone it. You know what I mean? I think just watching that clip, I felt like the funniest things that you were doing is when you're interacting with your environment.
Yeah, you're right.
And
That's
you were-
a good observation.
You were talking to him like he's a person. But if you talk to him like he was an object, like someone there who's to admire you, you know, you're like your fan, you know what I mean? Like a follower, then I think you would be able to bring out some more stuff. And maybe you have to work on a little bit to get that more pleasant.
Well, what could we do, you know, using this platform or something like this, that we could hone these things with your quick-wittedness, like a turn of a phrase, and my using physical surroundings? Is there some kind of like video we could make that would use both of those things?
I think so. I think we can make a skit or something. The next time you and I are close, we'll figure
Well,
out the date that you're coming, and then we'll write out a skit. And I think we might be able to do a scene or two.
I think so. Yeah.
And one thing that I used to do, I kind of do that kind of humor, is
Yeah, you
with
do.
little kids, and like they'll be having a cup, and I'm like, oh, and I use it as a hat, and the little kids
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not a
Yeah,
hat.
you're great with little
You're like,
kids,
what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a good elbow holder. And they're like, that's not an elbow holder. And those kind of things is to use your surroundings. Basically, I think if you apply the quadrilateral to your surroundings, I think you can find that where sometimes I'll make jokes, but it breaks down that wall and people can get to know me, but it's not like offensive or hurting. And you can kind of use those things in your situation. And it's like, so like part of the quadrilateral is like the culture of like, oh, it's a cup, but you drink it, you're putting your elbow in it. You know what I mean? Or like there's the last seat in the table, and you're like, you look at the other person, and you're like, who's gonna race you? Like you're gonna race the person to the seat,
Well, what if like one thing I was thinking of to like be able to use this platform and tell me like this just sort of like opened up ideas, but I don't want to steal it or whatever. But these pranksters, I follow the Nelkin boys. They would get people like people's classes Zoom code, and they would crash people's classes.
Okay.
And they were just not subtle enough. I think I could be a lot more subtle. Like they would just start ripping on bongs and stuff, like in the middle of class or use the bathroom. I was thinking, what if we organized like real Zoom meetings, like I just recently had with those guys. The reason I had this video is because I with the people I did that video with, we had a reunion. What if I was thinking I wanted to give you the link and you come in and you're like, hey guys, and they're like, who the heck is this?
And then people are like, who you? Well, I've got the beard.
Yeah.
So people don't ever recognize me with the beard. Yeah. I sent a link to you like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I know we don't really talk about politics and stuff, and it looked like a political link. I don't know if you saw that, where I sent you, where it was the Democrats' primary, and there was some guy like Stipe or something. I don't remember his name. He didn't make it very far.
Oh, where the guy comes in.
Yeah, yeah. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
So
And
then Stipe is like a millionaire, right?
Yeah.
And he's in this town hall with all these people, and then some guy stands up and he's like, he hit me with his car. Look at me, and he's all disheveled and stuff. And then like people like around are like, what the? And so they start like moving him out. He's like, I'm gonna sue. And then some random person stands up. It's like, has this ever happened to you? And it looks like they're doing a commercial in the middle of his town hall. It was hilarious. I died laughing when I saw this. Oh man, it was hilarious. But that kind of stuff is funny. Yeah,
we could.
Those kind of
I was
pranks.
thinking we could do something like that. We could. You know how I was thinking about this too. Just kind of like trying to think outside the box. You know how the Impractical Jokers, they set up legitimate things where like, people come in thinking they're testing real products. I think it'd be real easy to do that sort of thing in this day and age. Be like, hey, we got a Zoom thing where you got to test a certain product. I think that would be fun to do.
Yeah, we could do it. I think the product one would be tough over Zoom. We got to do more a conceptual thing, like we're doing a presentation.
Yeah, a presentation. I think that'd be good. A presentation, or like maybe we're demoing a new technology or something where it's like, this makes it look like we're from the 40s, and it's just like black and white. I don't know, something.
Yeah. Well, it has to be. I would think it would be if we made a lot of like mistakes. You remember the thing that was trending is the guy who did the Zoom call and he's a cat.
Oh yeah,
And the judge is like, you got a filter on, and he's like, I'm not a cat. He says it one time, I'm not a cat.
I know.
Man! And one time he point to